My name is Heather, and this is Now You're Cooking. Tonight we're going to be preparing pork chops, as you can see, boneless pork chops with brown gravy. Any brown gravy will do. Potatoes, and we're going to take these potatoes and we're going to actually take them from the potato and we're going to make them mashed, which is a wonderful thing. A lot of people, you can do this two ways. You can use instant mashed potatoes, or you can use fresh. Unfortunately, I can't get away with instant mashed potatoes because my family won't let me. And then we're going to throw a little greenery in it, and we're going to have some canned string beans. Really, the vegetable is up to you, whatever your family prefers or whatever you like. The one thing I am going to do to get started, though, is I'm going to have myself a glass of wine while we're doing this. And then we can make it really fun. Cooking should be entertaining, it should be relaxing, it should be fun. If it's not enjoyable, then you don't tend to do it, right? So what we're trying to accomplish here is to make some easy meals for your family that don't take too long. So the preparation time on this, as you can see, is probably, I'd say, anywhere between 12 to 15 minutes, if that. So the real time that this is going to take on this is going to actually be the actual cook time, okay? So today we're going to actually, let me see if I can figure this out. I bought this handy dandy little cork puller, and it's got a little cutter for me here. So let's see if I can get creative here and figure out how to get this bottle of wine open. And you can be opening yourself a bottle of wine right too. Right now anyway too, while I'm doing it. So a lot of times, you know, we don't have a lot of time, so we'll stop on the way home and we'll just pick something up for the kids or the husband or whatever your situation is in life. You know, we all have different situations. But boy, this cork puller makes this so easy. You see that? It's all done. That's it. There's my cork. It's a done deal. Okay, so now that I have my wine open, we can get started, huh? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually prepare the potatoes over here on the counter so you can see how I cut them up and all that great stuff. It's relatively easy. The one thing I do is I use a glass cutting board. It can tend to be a little loud and it can grit on the nerves a little bit if you haven't had enough wine yet, but after a couple of glasses of wine, it doesn't bother you at all. So the reason for the glass cutting board is that it doesn't harbor as many bacteria as other things. So we're going to use it, right now we're going to cut up our potatoes and we're going to get this, this pork in brown gravy rocking and rolling. So let me just come over here and get one of my knives. The one thing about this, the reason why I wanted to do this show is because I wanted to take the time to show people how easy it is just to get back to the basics. Not just to save money, but to have good food too. You know, today, in this day and age, not a lot of people offer cooking in school anymore. The girls don't take the home ec classes, and everybody's busy, so you know, a lot of times we're having either catering brought in or we're buying stuff that's already pre-cooked in the containers from the store. And basically what this is doing is it's not just saving you money and time, you're feeding your family really good food, good nutritional food. Now I've already washed these potatoes, so you don't have to worry about that. You know, you'll want to scrub them a little bit first. Some people use a potato washer, some people use a little spray in the bottle and all that stuff. But now that they're cut in quarters, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the pot of water ready for it, okay? So you'll just come over here and you'll get just a regular pot that has a lid, because things come to a boil a lot faster if you cover them, okay? I'm just going to get my measuring cup. I don't do a lot of measuring with tablespoons and cups and whatnot, but what I do is I just eyeball it. You know, I know how much it's going to take. So for you today, And if you can use purified water, that's great. I have one of these little pure things on the sink that I like to use. Makes it a little bit easier to cook with. And I'm going to put about 4.5 cups of water in here. So we'll get that ready real quick. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring it to a boil. And, you know, we'll put the potatoes in first. Now, a couple of things you can do. One is you can put a little bit of oil in there. If you put a little bit of oil in your water, then your water won't boil over. You know, sometimes you just make this huge mess from the water just going over. Okay. So, and we don't want to do that. And actually, I guess I'm going to put about 6 cups in here. It's a little bit larger of a quart size pot. And then you can put a little salt in there, because what salt will do is it'll bring it to a boil faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish filling it with the water. Here we go. Now you can hear a little bit of that music in the background. That's a very good friend of mine, Big Dave McConnell. He's a very talented musician. And again, the one thing I say is that I love the relaxation when I cook. So I always put a little wine in the wine glass and a little good music on the CD player, and off you go, right? So sea salt is what I prefer. You can use any salt you'd like. And I just take it, you know, just a you can do like the Emerald Bam if you want, you know, whatever makes you feel better. So you're just gonna sprinkle some salt in there. And then we're gonna put these potatoes in the pot here. Okay. Here we go. Get them all in there. Now, depending on your family size, now you'll notice I've used 6 small red potatoes. So depending on your family size, I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of oil here so I don't have to worry about it boiling over. If I can get the lid off, there we go. Here we go. So depending on your family size, you'll know how many potatoes to use. So the only thing different is if you're going to use more potatoes or less potatoes, you're going to add more water, right? So there's your potatoes. Now we're going to go over and we're going to put them on the stove. And we're just going to turn them on here. Let's see. There we go. And we're going to bring those to a boil. We're going to check them a few times, you know, see when they're ready. Now, there's no time limit on potatoes, because depending on how many you use, that's how you're going to know whether or not, how long you're going to keep them on, right? So if you have more potatoes, it's going to take longer. You have less potatoes, it's going to take less time. So what I use is I call the fork method. Now, and I'll show you that a little bit later when we get over to the stove, when they get closer to being done. But for about 6 small red potatoes, I'd say we're gonna go about 20 minutes for those. And what you want to do is you want to be able to stick the fork in them, and you want them to stay together. You don't want them to fall apart. If they fall apart, they've cooked too long, right? So you want to check them a few times throughout the boiling process, okay? And you want it to slide off the fork. If it stays on the fork, they're not cooked up.